Welcome to Cinema Bites, your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. The series begins in the small rural town of Helltown, where the population is very small. It becomes apparent that all the residents are close to one another and always hold celebrations and gatherings together. Harry and Haley, who are in a relationship, are in charge of the theater, while Harry's father and Haley's mother are responsible for the school. A strange smell begins to appear in the town, and no one knows its source. The school administrators are also the ones responsible for the town. Harry and Haley see their parents arguing with a strange person in the office. The smell spreads throughout the entire town, becoming unbearable and lasting for weeks. The school administration decides to send all the town's children on a 2-week camping trip to determine the smell's source and eliminate it. They ask the parents to leave town until the problem is resolved. The students prepare to leave, bid farewell to their families, and after a full day of travel, the buses arrive at their destination. As soon as the students disembark, the buses speed off and disappear entirely. Suddenly, the students find themselves back in their town, confused about what happened. They attempt to contact their families, but no one responds. They try reaching out to anyone in the outside world, but even the emergency number is disconnected. The students are bewildered but decide to enjoy their time, assuming their families are traveling and will return soon. They realize the smell is no longer present and decide to break the rules by celebrating in the church, taking advantage of the absence of adults. Some celebrate in the church, while others return home, feeling uneasy. The next day, the situation remains unchanged and they cannot reach their families. Everyone begins to sense danger. Cassandra, the school's student president and a natural leader, suggests sending a group to the town's outskirts to investigate. A group of students sets off in a car, but discovers that all roads leading out of town are blocked and the forest surrounds the town completely. They return to inform the others, concluding that they might be in a replica of their town but not the actual one. The students, now frightened, decide to stockpile food. They raid the shopping centers, each taking a large amount of food without considering others. Cassandra is shocked by the chaos and heads to the pharmacy. One of her classmates sees her trying to open the pharmacy and accuses her of being an addict. Suddenly, he notices her lips turning blue, and she explains that she has a heart valve blockage and needs her medication. Unable to open the pharmacy, they return home. Cassandra continues searching for her medication but cannot find it anywhere. She isolates herself at home, awaiting death. Her sister, Allie, arrives, revealing that she had the medication with her because she also needs it. Cassandra thanks her and takes the medicine. She then suggests to the group that they try to cross the forest to reach another town. A group of students, including Luke, Grace, and Charlotte, sets off, walking through the forest for a long time. They rest briefly, but a snake suddenly appears and bites one of them. Back in the church, the students gather to discuss what to do. Cassandra proposes dividing food and houses to conserve electricity and resources. She emphasizes the importance of democracy, which means fair distribution of resources regardless of social status or occupation, as they are all equal in their current situation. Harry, who dislikes Cassandra and is always jealous of her, opposes her idea, advocating for individual freedom. Suddenly, they hear gunshots, and Campbell, Cassandra's cousin, appears, pointing a gun at her and telling her to stay silent. And he asks the students to walk behind him. And as soon as the church door opens, he sees in front of him Loco and the rest of the group carrying Cheryl, who is dead, and the students are among them. And he understands that they are in danger, and they decide to bury Cheryl. And the next day, the sun rises at 9 in the morning, and everyone is surprised because it's a very strange time for sunrise, and they are burying Cheryl. And suddenly, a solar eclipse happens. So a group of students say it's a sign from God. But Geordie tells them that it's an astronomical event that happens every certain period, and that it's not a sign of anything. And the students divide themselves, and each group takes a front with a certain one. And Harry is the leader of the group who is not interested in anything that happens around them. And the only thing that matters to him is that he is a rich person and has everything at home, and does not need to rationalize his consumption, and wants to spend his time in celebrations and games, and satisfies the rest of the group to enjoy their time. As for the second group, it is led by Cassandra, and she kills her group to sort all the food items in the shopping centers, so that they know the quantity they have and know what will be enough. And he comes out and tells me the task, and they go to the shopping center, and after a while, Haley comes, and who is Harry's lover. But she gets upset with him after seeing him flirting with another girl. She repeatedly joins Cassandra's group and forms a mission. It appears that Will admires her and loves her for a long time. They help each other in sorting all the food. She sees him, which makes her very jealous, because she loves Will. She repeatedly walks while she's upset. Meanwhile, Allie encounters Harry and tells him about his girlfriend, Haley, being with Will at the shopping center. Harry pretends not to care and invites Allie to join a game of tag scheduled for an hour later, but she refuses because of her dislike for Cassandra and Harry's rude behavior toward her. While Cassandra is at home, Geordie monitors her health indicators and learns how to measure heart rates in case something happens to her. It becomes apparent that Geordie has feelings for Cassandra. Later, Jordy's sister asks him about the predicted dates for a solar eclipse, which Jordy does not know. She tells them that the eclipse is supposed to occur in 2024 and shows them the scientific journal where she read the information. This shocks everyone, and Jordy speculates that they might be in a parallel world and not the same world they once lived in. The game of tag begins, and Allie decides to participate with Harry, riding in his car. The game involves two groups, the police and the fugitives, with the police chasing the fugitives. Allie spots one of the fugitives and quickly gets out of the car, only to be hit by another vehicle. The students implement a system where the group responsible for cooking for 3 weeks will guard the food supply for the following 3 weeks, and so on. Everyone agrees, including Harry, who dislikes Cassandra but fears being ostracized. Cassandra decides to form a committee to manage tasks and oversee all groups, creating a council or authority figure. Her team assigns tasks to every individual in the town, posting lists with everyone's names on the wall for them to check their duties. They designate a place to store food with 2 people guarding it and another location to cook a specific amount of food for everyone. They set fixed times for communal meals. Additionally, groups are organized to clean the streets and the church, and another team surveys the houses in the town to determine the number of rooms and allocate residents accordingly. Larger houses are chosen to accommodate more people, conserving energy and water. Harry's house, being the largest in town, is shared with others, much to his dismay. He feels a loss of privacy and complains to his friends, claiming that Cassandra is controlling everyone, including his girlfriend Haley. He wishes she would die. She went to Cassandra and suggested they throw a dance party to remind everyone that they all grew up together in the same city and that they are united. Cassandra agreed to the idea, and Haley began organizing it. Haley accompanied her to the party and suggested they go together. He asked her to wear any dress because his house was outside the city limits, and now he had no place to live. Haley agreed, went home, and saw her father's jacket. She felt a deep sense of loss. Suddenly, she put her hand in the jacket pocket and found a women's lipstick, realizing it didn't belong to her mother. She quickly went to Harry's house and found the same type of lipstick there. She discovered that her father had been cheating on her. She discovered that her father had been cheating on her mother with Harry's mother. Shocked, she decided to completely cut ties with Harry, left him, and walked away. She went to the party feeling depressed and sad. Everyone tried to enjoy the party except for Harry, who was also feeling down. Allie was also alone, especially after realizing that her sister wasn't among the committee members. After a while, the party ended, and everyone returned home. Cassandra stayed behind to clean up. She went outside to take out the trash and suddenly saw a dog in front of her. It was the first pet they had seen because all the animals had disappeared. However, the dog sensed danger and ran away. Suddenly, an unknown person appeared in front of Cassandra and shot her. She died instantly. The next day, her body was discovered. The bullet casing was taken as evidence to identify the killer. Everyone suspected Harry, especially since everyone knew about his hatred and jealousy towards her. The funeral took place, and Allie broke down over her sister's death, feeling immense sadness. Time passed, and all the schedules and laws that Cassandra was responsible for were no longer implemented. Chaos erupted again. The council members, including Luke and Griswold, gathered and decided that Allie was the most suitable leader. This was because everyone would sympathize with her after her sister's death, and she was the only one people would listen to without objection. Allie initially didn't want to take on her sister's role, fearing she would meet the same fate. However, the committee assured her they would protect her. Indeed, all the young people were gathered in the church. Allie spoke about all the laws Cassandra had put in place and announced that all guns in every house would be confiscated to identify the killer through matching bullets. No one objected. The schedules were redistributed again. The only person who opposed was Helena, who had her father's gun and knew how to use it. She insisted on keeping it because she was certain no one could protect her. Allie couldn't forcefully take the gun from her and left her alone. Although she had decided to destroy all the guns, she postponed it to another day to protect the city. Luke and Griswold guarded her everywhere and didn't let her go out alone. At night, the rest of the group sat together. Cousin Allie and Campbell's brother were also present. He told the group about Campbell's childhood, mentioning a time when they had a small bird that suddenly disappeared from its cage. He saw Campbell watching the bird after cutting its wings off, wanting to see it helpless. At the time, his parents thought he was just a mischievous child. However, psychological tests later revealed that he was antisocial, a psychopath incapable of emotions or feelings. He could, however, fake them to manipulate and control those around him. It was suspected that he might be the killer because he was truly different. At that time, Campbell was at home with his girlfriend. He became upset after realizing she had returned from the party, enjoying herself without him. She sensed his anger but ignored it and went to the bathroom. Suddenly, Campbell followed her and tried to drown her in the bathtub. Before she died, he pulled her out of the water and told her he would never hurt her, claiming he was the only one who could protect her. She became terrified of him. Meanwhile, Allie broke down after suspecting her cousin might have killed her sister. She locked herself in her room, crying, and tried to call her mother, leaving a voicemail in tears, saying she needed her and couldn't do it without Cassandra. At night, Harry met Campbell, who gave him some drugs, revealing that Harry was addicted to them. Campbell was the reason for his addiction, as he loved controlling those around him. The next day, Harry sat with his friends, and one of them, named Dewey, asks what they would do if they found the person who killed Cassandra. Harry tells him they would certainly imprison him because it's not normal for someone to go around killing people. Dewey then says he was the one who wanted her dead, and they think about his words, realizing Cassandra was the problem and trying to control them. He confesses that he killed her for them. Harry is shocked and decides to tell Gordy about Dewey's confession. Ellie learns about it and agrees with the rest of the group to raid Dewey's house and search it. That night, Luke, Grizz, and Blake break into the house and find a gun. Blake hands it over to Gordy to examine the bullets and discovers that 2 bullets are missing, and the same casing matches the one used to kill Cassandra. Dewey is arrested, and Ellie decides to hold a trial in front of everyone, acting as the judge despite her objections because she is Cassandra's sister, and her judgment might not be impartial. However, everyone insists she be the judge. A jury is formed to decide whether Dewey is guilty or not. The trial begins, and Dewey refuses to confess to the crime. Harry testifies against him in court, recounting everything. Gordy, acting as the prosecutor, presents the evidence to the jury to determine Dewey's guilt. Eventually, a date is set for the sentencing hearing. Ellie is unsure what to do if the jury declares him guilty. She decides to threaten Dewey into confessing to the crime, but she is shocked to find him beaten. She learns that Blake tried to force him to confess, so she decides to expel Blake and dismiss him for breaking the law. She then tries to interrogate Dewey and threatens to sentence him to death if he doesn't confess, but Dewey still refuses. The next day, the sentencing hearing takes place, and the jury finds Dewey guilty. Ellie does not reveal the punishment she intends to impose on Dewey. She requests another session to make a decision. Suddenly, Dewey decides to confess and admits that he killed Cassandra because Harry believed she was controlling them, and he also saw it that way. He says Harry would be happy with her death and admits that Campbell also helped him. Ellie orders the jury members to arrest Campbell, and the trial is postponed to the following day. Ellie spends 3 days struggling to make a decision. The jury pressures her to announce her ruling, fearing that people might turn against her if they perceive her as weak and unable to make decisions. Ellie, who loves and respects the law, listens to someone explaining the principles of governance, emphasizing that a leader must be firm in their decisions and that the murder that occurred is a blow to the system, requiring a strong response. This leads Ellie to decide to summon someone to testify against Campbell. However, they are too afraid to speak, fearing Campbell might harm them. Ellie promises protection, and the witness states that Campbell never admitted involvement in Cassandra's death, but they suspect he might have committed the crime. They conclude that they have only 2 options: either let him go due to lack of evidence or sentence him to death, as any other punishment would make him more dangerous. The next day, the trial resumes, and Ellie sentences Dewey to execution. She and the jury members head into the forest to carry out the sentence. Grizz, Luke, and Blake prepare to fire their guns simultaneously so no one feels solely responsible. However, Grizz cannot do it and drops his gun. Ellie takes his place and fires with the rest of the group, killing Dewey. Ellie breaks down emotionally, returns home, and is overwhelmed with guilt, unable to bear it. She blames Will for pressuring her and staining her hands with blood. Will apologizes and leaves. Time passes, and Ellie establishes new rules, such as a curfew after midnight and deducting food rations for anyone absent from work. Harry falls into depression after everyone learns he wished for Cassandra's death. Meanwhile, Will grows closer to Haley, who starts to develop feelings for him. They set aside time daily for recreation, such as playing soccer or dancing together, with Ellie announcing the results. Everyone seems to enjoy themselves. Weekly reports are submitted to the committee, with each member responsible for a specific task. For example, Gordy leads a group searching for a way out of the town, while Grizz and his group focus on finding alternative food sources, suggesting they learn farming before their food supply runs out. They estimate they have enough food until summer, but must start growing their own crops. The discovery frightens people, prompting Ellie to reassure them. She tells them they are the first humans on this planet and names their new town New Hill. She assures time passes, and Ellie establishes new rules, such as a curfew after midnight and deducting food rations for anyone absent from work. Harry falls into depression after everyone learns he wished for Cassandra's death. Meanwhile, Will grows closer to Haley, who starts to develop feelings for him. They set aside time daily for recreation, such as playing soccer or dancing dancing together, with Ellie announcing the results. Everyone seems to enjoy themselves. Weekly reports are submitted to the committee, with each member responsible for a specific task. For example, Gordy leads a group searching for a way out of the town, while Grizz and his group focus on finding alternative food sources, suggesting they learn farming before their food supply runs out. They estimate they have enough food until summer, but must start growing their own crops. The discovery frightens people, prompting Ellie to reassure them. She tells them they are the first humans on this planet and names their new town New Hill. She assures them this is only a temporary phase until they find a way to return to their original world. She gives them hope that their families are still alive, but in a different place. She succeeds in influencing everyone positively, and he is very happy. Thanksgiving Day comes, and they get married and eat together, except for Campbell, who stays alone at home. He keeps Elle locked up with him, and signs of beating and violence appear on Elle's body. The theater part comes, and Alexa is in charge of it, and she acts out everything that happens in reality in a theatrical form, promising that Harry would represent the people if elected. Campbell doesn't care about the community's welfare, but only about reclaiming his home and possessions. In contrast, Ellie prioritizes the city's welfare over her own. She declares that her possessions belong to everyone, which has kept their community organized and resilient. People admire and support her. Suddenly, Alexa enters and nominates herself as well, accusing Ellie of being a dictator. She claims Ellie's guards are her secret police, responsible for harming and humiliating people. Alexa says she is running to prevent Ellie from controlling and oppressing them. She questions Ellie about why she detained Ellie, but doesn't get a clear answer, which strengthens the accusations against Ellie. People start to trust Alexa, and she gains supporters who believe Ellie's system is dictatorial. At night, Haley sits with Becca, who is pregnant by an unknown man. Becca agrees with Sam to claim he is the father because he dreams of having a family and wants to protect her from societal judgment. Haley talks to Becca to keep her company, and they look at old photos. Suddenly, Haley notices a photo of Cassandra on the bus, where the bus driver's face is clearly visible. It's the same person Haley saw arguing with her father and Harry's father at school. Haley informs Ellie and the group, and Sam confesses something. He reveals that on their first day in this place, he found a contract between his father, uncle, and a man named Pfeiffer. They had refused to pay him money 2 days before their trip, which was the day the strange smell returned. Ellie and the group realize Pfeiffer is punishing them because their parents refused to pay him. However, they still don't understand how they were transported to this alternate world and can't find an explanation. Meanwhile, Alexa gathers all the girls in the church trying to win their votes. She criticizes Ellie's rules, which force them to work like slaves, cleaning streets, cooking, and harvesting vegetables. Soon, Ellie might even make them farm the lands by hand. The girls express frustration over the workload and agree to support Alexa. At the same time, Campbell grows angrier about Ellie detaining his girlfriend and plots a very evil plan. He goes to Harry and encourages him to stage a coup against Ellie, not waiting for the election results, which might favor Ellie or Alexa. Harry is shocked and refuses to use force, but Campbell manipulates him by withholding the drugs Harry is addicted to unless he agrees. Desperate for the drugs, Harry agrees, giving Campbell the control he has wanted for months. Campbell and Harry then approach Ellie's guards, who represent the army. It becomes evident that the guards are upset with Ellie, especially after she refused to let them run for council positions, claiming that military personnel cannot hold civilian posts. The guards decide to help Campbell and Harry with the coup. One of the important guards gets angry at the coup. This is because he is sure that chaos will ensue if they do this. This is because they themselves would be breaking the laws that have allowed them to survive until now. Even if they manage to seize power by force, there's nothing stopping others from taking power from them by force later. He asks them what their reaction would be then, but none of them can answer. Luke decides to leave and not join them, but the group stops him because they know he is aware of their plan. They tell him he must join them or die. Luke is forced to agree, and they all go together to Alexa's house. There, they convince her to join them to gain the people's support. They threaten her, saying if she doesn't join them, the guards won't side with her, and she'll be the only loser. She is forced to agree. Afterward, they go with the guards to Wink's house, where they arrest her on charges of attempting to rig the elections. They fabricate any accusation to justify their stance to the people. Luke searches for his beloved and takes her, pretending to be someone else so she won't be harmed. He forces her to face Allie before leaving, and she is compelled to comply but vows to seek her rights. Allie and Will are sentenced to house arrest. Harry and Alexa address the people, explaining the new situation and inciting them, claiming Ali and Will were planning to rig the elections and that they had trusted the wrong people. Everyone becomes angry and easily believes the accusations. The guards take Ali and Will to detain them elsewhere, but people throw stones at them. Ali feels guilty, knowing she has unjustly imprisoned Ollie. She tries to calm the people and asks them to return to their homes. Suddenly, an expedition arrives, having explored beyond the forests. They announce finding a vast land suitable for agriculture, Along with a lake full of fish and birds, the people rejoice, and Ali promises them a new life full of happiness and hope. In the final scene of the series, a woman is seen sitting with many children, telling them a story. In the background, there's a board with the names of all the young people in the parallel world, with a note saying, "They will always be remembered." I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more awesome content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.